Welcome to the second part of This Week in Reviews. I still have a huge stack to go through. I just thought it would be better not to have a half an hour to 45-minute long video. So, splitting it off into at least two videos. We'll see where it goes from there. Now, I want to talk about a book that I had no idea it was coming out. I had no idea on who or what this publisher is. It's Guardian Knight Studios, and it's William the Last. I had no idea. Now, the great thing about... I have two comic book stores. The great thing about the one that I get all these independent books from is that they have two gals who go out to all these cons and they talk to all these creators. And they say, do we want to put those books in our store? Well, William the Last by Brian Scherer is one of those books. And so I just looked at it. I was like, why the hell not? I'll give this book a chance. Especially with that cover. I love just the simplicity. There's not too much going on. Just a boy looking out to the great beyond and seeing this great castle. And so, I'm reading it, right? And it reminds me of one of those books, like a fairy tale, that you would give to your kid and say, I want to get my kid into comics. What would I give them to read? I would give them William the Last. It's simple. There's not much in the way of words. It's more of a visual type of book. You have this boy who just lost his grandfather. And his grandfather says, if you are at the bottom of the pit, which basically they are, they're just lost in this like little oasis. And the grandfather says, climb. Climb whenever you feel like you're down. Climb out whatever hole you're in. So the boy just lost his grandfather, the only person he knows. He decides to climb up the hill. And come to find out, there's this land beyond what he knew. And it hooked me. It really did. The reason why the book doesn't have much of the way of dialogue is because the boy is alone most of the time. And when you get another character introduced, it's really fun writing. I was really hooked, and I'm going to go next week when I go in, I'm going to say, I'm going to put this on my pull list because I'm really intrigued to see where the story goes. No idea if they're going to be picking up or how long this series is, but William the Last definitely is not going to be the last comic that I pick up of this series. And I'm going to be very interested to see what Guardian Knight Studios does next, because it was just a very much a fun book. And you don't get much of those in comics nowadays. A lot of it's grim and dark. But this one was just light and just made you go, I like this. Just nice to read a good book. Good, simple book. And then we have Lollipop Kids. Now, I picked up both. I picked up the B cover, which I was like, oh, that's cool, especially with that monster hand coming out. And then I got the A cover. And the reason why I picked up both is because I wanted to support Adam Glass and his son Aiden Glass in their series that they are writing together. Now, I heard that this story is that the boy came up with the idea and the father is writing it, just going off of what the boy said. I don't have any idea how old his son is, but I really liked our main character. The main character in here is this black kid who his parents, I do believe, passed away. And him and his sister living on their own. Basically, living in the system. And I loved how just the little thing of having our main character be dyslexic. Now, just to let you all know, I'm dyslexic. I grew up with dyslexia. And I learned how to live with it, how to learn, and how I myself learn. And you see that in this kid. And it makes me wonder, does either Adam Glass or Aiden Glass have dyslexia? Because of just the way that they wrote it, It wasn't like it's this detriment to the main character. It's that he's a smart individual. It's just that the way his mind thinks is a little bit different than everyone else's. And just that little thing, just like, it kind of like put a little piece of me into the main character. And I just loved it. He is going out looking for his sister. Now, his sister has not come home the night prior. So, he's going through the park in New York. And then a werewolf attacks. Now, the werewolf is in the first panel, first page, and then it tells the story of our main character. Now, the thing that I did not like, even though it does acknowledge it, is that there's a lot of setup in this issue where you don't get the main character actually communicating with most people. It's all is background where you have, what do you call it? Where you have the narration of the story and Adam Glass actually acknowledges it. Which I did like, because it, like, I was kind of getting a little annoyed. And then, just at the right time, Adam Glass goes and acknowledges what was going on. I am interested in issue number 2. I'm not going to spoil it. I would recommend people to go pick it up. It's kind of like Harry Potter in the comics realm. And I'll definitely be picking up issue number 2. I want to support a little family excursion. So, that was my little review of Lollipop Kids. Now, on to some DC. And I love Justice League Dark that James Tynion is doing. I was a little bit worried when I heard about a tie-in with Wonder Woman, even though Wonder Woman is in the Justice League Dark. The Witching Hour. I can easily say, James Tynion, this story he's telling, it just felt like this was Justice League Dark issue number 4, which I think it kind of should have been. There was no really reason for me to pay a $4.99 price with a story that just felt like, hey, we don't need to have this Witching Hour. We could have this Witching Hour issue as a Justice League Dark issue. All seriousness. I love this issue, though, just because of the story that James Tynion has been telling. It has me hooked. I love the character interaction between everybody on this team. Especially the monkey. I just love him when he's like seeing all this destruction and everything, the way he reacts to it. It was absolutely amazing. I did like to see how Wonder Woman is working with the team. And Constantine is amazing. I cannot wait to get more of him. Now, the Witching Hour, I do think will become a bi-weekly little event in the Wonder Woman / Justice League Dark crossover. I just wish that we didn't get a crossover so soon into James Tynion's run. Especially with, I heard Wonder Woman is going to be getting a new writer soon. So I do wonder if this little 4-part event is just little filler for Wonder Woman until the new writer comes in. Because it will suck if the new writer has to get thrown into with this crossover. Because I wouldn't want that for any writer. I want them to get their feet, like, straight. I would like for them to get their feet, their feet in with the characters, like the story going before any of these crossover events. So that's one of the bad things about DC or any the big two, is that they like their crossovers. Even though it's a good issue, I'm still not okay with a crossover just yet, with James Tynion only being 3 issues in to Justice League Dark. And next, I got Umbrella Academy, issue number 1, Hotel Oblivion. Now, this is a good book, but it is not new reader friendly, which I am. I've never read Umbrella Academy. I've just heard how good the series is. And so with the new issue number 1, I was like, all right, seems like a good jumping on point. Oh, God, no. It didn't give me any backstory on who these characters are. I had no idea who was good, who was bad. what's the predicament that they're in right now, where they have been before. It just all kind of just made me go, I really need to go read the back issues, which I'm definitely intrigued to do. I just don't know if I'll be picking up any more issues of this until I've read, I think there's 2 volumes, and then I'll read this again. Because just reading this, I was just totally lost, and I want to read more, but I just know that this series is not new reader friendly at all. And then I picked up another new number 1 from Dark Horse Comics, Deathlord. This comic is beautiful. I love this post-apocalyptic world, which when you see post-apocalyptic, it's always kind of the same. But with this one, with the main character and how you don't really know much about him, which you can see that a lot of times, this book kind of could be a little bit cliched. But I'm very much intrigued with the science fiction part, and the last page, the last panel, really made me go, okay, you got me for issue number 2. I mean, I just need to know how this issue, or how the next issue is going to go, because it really turned me on my head by the end, which I'm not going to ruin here. So I'm thinking with Deathlord, it's only a 5-issue miniseries. I'll read it. I'll give my whole entire thoughts on it. Because that's what I plan on doing. Is once a story arc wraps up, give my whole entire thoughts on it with a final score on how good the story art is. Next up, Batman, number 56. Tom King. Okay, I just got into comics again. I've read up to the point, or I just started with Tom King's run right after the whole calamity with Batman and Catwoman. So I thought, I kind of got the gist of what the story arc has been so far. And I loved the first 3 issues I read, with him being almost like a 12 Angry Man scenario, where he's in a courtroom, and he's part of the jury to go and convict. Why am I forgetting his name? Oh man, I cannot believe I just have. You know when something just clicks and then something just disappears? That's what I just had. I just had that moment right here. And I don't have my computer to go and edit everything out. I called him Iceman. Oh, that's funny. But anyways, so I liked the 12 Angry Man scenario that we saw post the whole Catwoman and Batman fiasco. And up until that, after that point, oh, Mr. Freeze. That's what his name is. Oh, I can't believe I just did that. You know how it is? Yeah, you know how it is. But after that Mr. Freeze scenario, I was hooked. And I was like, I need to go back and buy every single Tom King Batman run. And then after that, I was kind of like, iffy about this whole entire thing. Because after that, I just felt like Tom King didn't have... I didn't see a direction he was going. He had a great 3 issues, but I just didn't see a direction. And then after this issue, oh, I see a direction. I see a great direction with KGB Beast. I like the coldness of this issue. I like that Batman's just out there, and he has a mission, and he's going to get KGB Beast for what he did to Nightwing. And I was just like, all right, this is the Tom King I like. I love the art. This issue right here just made me go, okay, I like Tom King again. And I've been hearing that that's a lot of things that people don't like about Tom King's run, is that there's some hits, there's some misses. But that one, issue number 56, definitely was a hit. A new Image number 1 with Aaron Boys. I was not looking forward for this book. I picked it up just because I love everything Image, and especially new number ones. You never know what you're going to get. But I just thought I was just going to get a generic, sci-fi romp. And I really like this main character who his father just died in a horrible car accident, and his new wife died with him. Well, they had a son. So our main character has to go and basically be the foster parent for his half-brother. It's just a good banter between them both. I love the art. The art in here won me over most of all. The designs of the creatures was outstanding. So for nothing else for the artwork, I'm going to be picking up issue number 2. Because this one was a fun ride, a really fun ride, and just the art just hooked me. And I got 2 more books to talk about. And the other one's a new Image number 1 with Dead Rabbits. I expected this one to be my top pick before anything else. I like this issue. I do. It has a noir feeling. It has this anti-hero who went and stole a whole bunch of money in the 90s. Kind of laid low. And the money has run out. Now he's going back to, do whatever this anti-hero does. I like the family life that we saw with this character. I didn't get the hook yet. Although I could see that there's good talent here. With Gary Duggan and John McCree. I'm interested in issue number 2. It just didn't grab me as I felt like it was. But I'm definitely on for issue number 2. And finally, the last book that I read this week. The Sandman Universe, The Dreaming, issue number 2. The Dreaming has been my favorite out of the 2 so far. I think the other one's The House of Whispers. And The Dreaming, the artwork is the best artwork of the whole entire week. By far. Everything about this book is top grade. The storyline in here is great. Like, everything about the story is great. But it's so dense. There's so much going on. And because I didn't read... I've never read any of Sandman books that came before this, which I am going to do that, by the way. I plan on reading all the Sandman books. The reveal that at the end didn't have an impact on me because I haven't read any of the others that came before it. But I'm going to rectify that soon. I love this series. The series is always going to be on my pull list. I just know it. I just know it. It's such a dense book. It's such a beautiful book. It's a book that I think you have to read a couple of times just to get everything that's in it. I can't wait to see where the story's going because I have no idea. The universe is shattering. The dream world is shattering. And I just love this character because the first 2 issues have kind of been following different characters, and this one was not as good as issue number 1, but is the quality in here is beyond anything. And Vertigo, oh my god! Now the only book that I forgot to pick up this week, out of all the ones I could forget, was Border Towns issue number 2. So I'm gonna go pick that up. I had that on my pull list, I believe, and I didn't see it at the comic book shop. So I'm wondering if the issues were damaged so they never put it out. But it's definitely a book that I'll be picking up next week. I hope you guys have been enjoying this. I know I have, and I'm so glad to be back. And next time, hopefully I'll have my computer all set up with a professional camera. And I'm just enjoying being back. So, what have you read this week? Let me know all down below. My name's David. I'll see you guys next time.